Wow, great to be back your way again today. This is the very first teaching or training or lecture on this very platform, Research Made Easy with Alman. And it is very important that I set the foundation. For scriptures do say that for you to build a thing, you must what? Lay the foundation. So the first 5 series of videos that you will see me post on this Research Made Easy platform with Alman will be the fundamentals of all you need to have behind your mind as a researcher before you ever commence on the journey of starting your research. So I will be discussing the 5 different most important chapters in any research endeavor that you want to carry out, either on the undergrad or at the postgraduate level. Today, I'll be discussing on the very first chapter, which is the introductory chapter, which some also call chapter 1. What are the components that make up an introductory chapter? 1. Your 1.1 is your background of the study. What is background of the study? Background of the study is where the researcher, either the student or the academics, whosoever you are conducting a research, either academic or market research, you define and give your readers the background knowledge. You tell them what you have in mind to do. You explain what you give a little background of what you want to do. In that introduction, you explain some of the variables that you have in your work, and you narrow it down to the closing part to address some of the key problems why you are doing what you do or what you want to do. And that should snowball into your next section, which is 1.2 statement of the problem. So the closing end of your background of the study should flow into the statement of the problem. And in brief, what is statement of the problem? Statement of the problem in any research are the issues that your research have identified that you want to solve. It is of no use for you to do a research that the results or the findings are everywhere in the world or everywhere on the internet. Before you set out to carry out any study, you must have a problem that you have identified that have not been solved and you intend to solve. Those are the things that will make up your statement of problem, and it is from that statement of problem or what you intend to solve that your topic will come out from. The next you need to have is your 1.3, which is the aim of your research and the objectives. The aim is the major thing that you are trying to address. For example, I want to address the impact of total quality management on performance or profitability of paint industry. That is my aim. Then the smaller objectives that I want to use to address different variables in my work are now the objectives. Those ones are specific. Maybe I want to now look at how does the knowledge of the employee or their training in TQM can impact the profitability or the performance of the organization. That is now my objective. So I can have series of objectives. 1.4, your objectives now snowball into your research question. For example, let's say I said I want to examine the relationship of TQM and profitability. That is an objective. My research question now comes in the question format of my objectives. I cannot say, what is the relationship of TQM with profitability? That is a research question. Your research question now snowballs into your 1.5, which is your research hypothesis. Your research hypothesis can either be a null hypothesis, which is the H0, which is the default setting of your hypothesis, which is the negative hypothesis, or HA or H1, which is the positive hypothesis of your work. Taking the example above from the research question, your research hypothesis can be like this. Is there any relationship between TQM and profitability? That is an hypothesis you can form from the research question. From there, you can go to 1.6, which is your rationale for the study, or your justification for the study, or your significance of the study. And what does that entail? Your significance of the study is justifying why your work is important. Looking at how your work is important to stakeholders, to the organization, to the student or the academics, to the society at large, to the government. You justify how your work will benefit all these I have mentioned and many more. Then you can go down to talk about the scope and delimitation of your work. In the scope and delimitation of your work, this is where you limit and tell yourself, this is the area I want to cover. For example, in this same topic, looking at the impact of TQM on profitability or performance of an organization or of a paint industry,